Okay, so just arrived at my quarantine hotel and I lucked out. So this is where I'm quarantining for the next 14 days. It's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. And they've even got a bath, which I was not expecting at all. Hello.
Hello from South Korea. Where to begin? You know, flying is stressful enough, like as it is. Then add on top of that you're moving countries, and then add on to that it's during a pandemic. And you know, that's my choice to travel during an epidemic. So last week I was moving out of my apartment. I emptied my apartment, sold all my furniture, packed my life into the suitcases that I had, and got on a plane to South Korea. It wasn't as simple as that, obviously. I had to have a PCR test before 48 hours before you can fly. And then of course, quarantine. Funnily enough, the flight itself was actually pretty busy. To fly from the UK, obviously it's a bit trickier because of the new strain. So there's all these extra precautions. For example, direct flights from the UK to Korea is banned. So I had to do one stopover. Stopover was Doha. At Heathrow, the lady checking my PCR test and my passport held on to it for a really long time because they were obviously very confused, and they had to check to see if UK citizens could actually fly to South Korea without a visa. So I've flown here without a visa. I'm a short-term visitor. British citizens can travel to Korea for 90 days. And I made sure I had a proof of purchase of an onward flight so that I wasn't obviously going to overstay my welcome. Landing at Incheon International Airport, ICN, was a whole other experience. It took at least 4 hours, I think, from landing to getting out of the airport, which actually, based on what I'd read up, seemed like a short amount of time. I actually thought it would take longer than that. It kind of seemed like everyone was landing at Seoul at exactly the same time. The queue to get checked for COVID was phenomenally long, and obviously it was from many different flights joining the same queue, so that took a long time. It wasn't like an actual COVID test, it was just a temperature check at the first kind of station. There were many different stations along the way. This was also the main kind of piece of information that was handed at that station. Basically, like, yeah, you go to quarantine, and there ain't no way around this. This is, you won't get, no one deviates from this. Everyone goes into quarantine. The next was immigration. I did the same thing at about 2 or 3 different desks. I gave my fingerprints like 3 times. I don't know why. You just sort of go along with it. When you're told to do something, stand there, go here, get your passport out, you just sort of do it, and you just get swept along, and you just listen to what's being told to you. You do it, and then you're fine. My passport was given a red stamp, which means I guess it means that I'm a foreigner and that I will be going into quarantine, government quarantine rather than home quarantine. I was also given like a red lanyard, which I guess means the same thing. The first COVID test I had wasn't until I arrived at the hotel. After waiting in the airport for a little while, we were shepherded into a bus. Arriving at the hotel kind of entranceway, we were all tested for COVID in this really frantic kind of way. It was a combination of getting off the bus, getting our luggage off the bus, which was a scramble as in itself, then getting in a queue outside, hustled along. Someone was writing our name on a little file, and then had to take that file and give it to someone else. It was organised, but it was frantic energy. I would definitely say that the best English I experienced was checking in at the hotel. That's where we were kind of sat down and told, this isn't a hotel, this is quarantine. You cannot leave your hotel room, you cannot smoke, no parties, no running around the corridors. Editing Olivia here, and yes, I know I'm in bed, jet lag, I am allowed. I'm just going to insert a video here that I sent my friends the minute I sort of walked into the hotel room. You can tell I'm a bit like frazzled and a bit like, ugh, and I just think it does a really good job of capturing the moment. So I'm going to put that in here. Just gone through the most phenomenal experience of entering a country. Hashtag do not recommend. Aware of how fucking ratty I look. I have just come off a plane, 2 planes, I'll have you know. On the hotel of it all, it was really weird. There was a really aggressive guy who was trying to be funny, but like obviously he's super stressed, and he's like shouting at everyone like, guys, you need to get to the Wi-Fi, that's the wrong app. Let me look at, like, grabbing people's phone like, that's the wrong app, you've got the wrong one. And I can see why it's confusing, because in the airport you're told one thing and then you get here and you're told another. It's a bit weird. Yeah, anyway, he said like, you are in a quarantine facility, you are not in a hotel, so there's no room service, there's no, and he even made a joke. He was like, you're welcome to go outside if you want, but if you do, we will deport you. And like, there was like silence, and I just thought and we were given a whole bunch of rules, something to kind of be a little bit clearer. We also had the opportunity to then ask questions, like someone rightly asked, what about, you know, water? We were told that we'd have 3 meals a day, including water, and I actually had this concern as well. These are the size bottles that we get with our meal, and I go through so much water that that's quite frankly not enough. But then we were told, oh well, there's a bigger bottle already in your hotel room, you know, just like little questions like that. And then the really specific rules about garbage and putting your trash outside and making sure that it's in a biohazard bag. These things I mean, that's kind of scary. Like, I'm contaminated right now. I'm a radioactive, contaminated being. Anyone who's in and out, coming in and out of the corridor, you know, they're head to toe in hazmat suits, and I feel like I'm contaminated. Even though I'm negative, by the way, I have a negative COVID test, but I'm still quarantining, and them's the rules. The most surreal aspect of this is that the fact that everyone in this hotel is basically contaminated, and one of the announcements of the many that we get throughout the day, one of them says there are continuous positive cases of coronavirus, so you must stay in your room. You're like, oh yeah, someone next to me could in a few days develop symptoms and actually be positive for it. That's quite a sobering thing. Pretty sure this entire section of the hotel is full of just people quarantining. I've got a neat view from my window. It is actually a damn beautiful day today. And it snowed as well on like the second day. That's always a nice thing to see from someone who doesn't experience snow that often, obviously. I've definitely seen that some people in quarantine have had temperature checks at their front door, but in where I am in the Grand Hyatt, we're given thermometers, and we have to enter that into the app that we installed on our phones, and that has to be twice a day. Check out the instructions we got with the thermometer. Super helpful. Okay, so food. Thus far I've had absolutely no complaints. It's good, there's a shit ton of variety, it's something to look forward to every day. Yeah, it's all pretty tasty stuff. I mean, not a lot of it I like, but it's good quality, I think, for what it is. Let's just say I'm definitely not going hungry. There is far too much food here. Like, I hardly go through all of my rice. I go through like maybe half every meal. There's like that much rice every meal, most of the time, so I ain't going hungry. This is my little kitchen area, kettle. Water-wise, I just fill it up from the sink. Some kind of instant coffee bits. I've just made a tea. Oh my god, absolutely take back using the sink for the kettle. That's absolutely disgusting. If I was addicted to coffee and alcohol, then I'd be screwed right now because there's no coffee and no alcohol. I'm saving my instant ramen stuff. There's my tea bags that I brought from the UK. Fridge-wise, I've been, whenever we get milk, I've been saving it so I can use it for tea. And then that's the big bottle of water that came with the room. The thing with the announcements is that they're firstly in English, then in Korean, and then about 6 or 7 different languages. So timing wise, they can go on for 15 to 20 minutes. Any second now they're going to call for lunch. Because I've timed it and I know it's going to happen soon. Any second now. Okay, apparently not. Have I got my timings wrong? Yeah, it should be now. Lunch today is a make your own sandwich. Bread, cheese, lettuce, ham, sauce. It's like they know that we need projects. Okay, in my defense, I've never opened American cheese before. I have no idea how to do it. So the verdict is not too bad. Could have done with some butter, but yeah, fun. But it's not like this has come free at all. This entire stay, the food, the accommodation, the testing, it all comes at a cost. The entire thing cost 1,680,000 Korean won, which is a lot of money. In terms of what I spend my time doing, the fact that I've got this desk is amazing. I can do a little bit of work. I haven't really been watching that much TV, but it's fun to scroll through every so often. I wish I could say I've been doing exercises and yoga and meditation, but no, I've been mooching around, and today is the first day I've worn makeup. The announcement says 3 days before you're due to leave, you'll be given a questionnaire about how you're going to leave, whether that's by bus or whether someone's going to pick you up or something like that. So I guess we'll face that when it comes to it. What's funny about this whole thing is that, yeah, it's fucking stressful, but as soon as you're here, it's obviously really straightforward. 3 meals a day, stay in your room, follow the rules. I don't know, it's an adventure. I think I'll probably start to go mad in the next week or so. I've still got time to go a bit mad, so that'll be fun.